สวัสดีค่ะกราบสวัสดีท่านผู้บริหารท่านผู้มีเกียรติแล้วก็ท่านสื่อมวลชนทุกท่านนะคะฮันนี่ชลพรรษานเวลาค่ะวันนี้มีความยินดีเป็นอย่างยิ่งนะคะรับหน้าที่เป็นพิธีกรและขอต้อนรับทุกท่านเข้าสู่บรรยากาศงาน Pomelo 2022 ฉลอง 9 ปีแห่งความสำเร็จพร้อมประกาศแผนก้าวสู่การเป็นแพลตฟอร์มแฟชั่นอันดับหนึ่งนะคะในภูมิภาคเอเชียตะวันออกเฉียงใต้ค่ะอย่างที่เราทราบกันดีนะคะในปัจจุบันพฤติกรรมผู้บริโภคนั้นก็มีการเปลี่ยนแปลงอยู่ตลอดเวลา Pomelo เองก็เรียกได้ว่าเป็นแบรนด์ที่ต้องมีการพัฒนาและปรับปรุงนะคะล้อไปกับอุตสาหกรรมแล้วก็ผู้บริโภคเพื่อการขยายธุรกิจก้าวไปสู่เป้าหมายที่จะเป็นแฟชั่นเดสติเนชันอันดับหนึ่งในภูมิภาคนี้นั่นเองค่ะวันนี้ผู้บริหารก็จะมาเล่าถึงทิศทางที่น่าสนใจตลอดจนภาพรวมความสำเร็จในช่วงปีที่ผ่านมานะคะแล้วก็ยังรวมไปถึงแผนงานในอนาคตว่าจะขับเคลื่อนองค์กรไปข้างหน้าได้อย่างไรเพื่อการเติบโตอย่างมั่นคงและยั่งยืนค่ะ Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. My name is Hani Cholapansanarula. I'm very delighted to be here as your host, welcoming you to the press conference. Pomelo celebrates 9th anniversary, announces 2022 business directions to become Southeast Asia's #1 fashion destination. As you know, the consumer behavior is constantly changing, so Pomelo fashion is actively evolving in line with the industry and consumers, expanding its business to be the #1 fashion destination in the Southeast Asian region. So today the company executives will be telling us more about the overall success of the organization in the past year, together with the strategies, the business plans of 2022. So without further ado, I'd like to call upon Kun Arya Panomyong, board member of Pomelo Fashion, and Kun Direk Kesawakarun, managing partner of Bain Thailand, to tell us more about the future of consumers in Southeast Asia and the rapidly evolving dynamics of the industry เอาละค่ะในช่วงแรกนะคะไปฟังมุมมองที่น่าสนใจจากผู้บริหารกันเลยค่ะขอเสียงปรบมือดังๆต้อนรับคุณอริยะพนมยงค์คณะกรรมการบริษัท Pomelo Fashion และคุณดิเรกเกษวการุณพาร์ทเนอร์บริษัท Bain & Company ค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
Great. Good morning,
everyone. Kunaria, Kunbi, and myself are excited here to share with you today, not with regards to Pomelo, but more of what do we see that's happening in the overall digital economy space in Southeast Asia. So we want to start by just sharing with you the overall market potential. And at Bain, we've been looking at the digital economy and following its growth over the past few years. And what we saw in 2021 is that with the COVID pandemic, it really has ushered in a change in consumer behaviors. We ended 2021 with the total digital economy across Southeast Asia at $174 billion. And that's a significant number from what it has been in the past. But what's really exciting is if we look forward over the next 5 years and the next 10 years, what we see is that by 2025, that number will hit over 360 billion. And by 2030, the digital economy in Southeast Asia could hit $1 trillion, which is a significant number and significant growth potential.
Thanks, Derek. So basically, we started from the bigger picture. Now let's dive into fashion. And before we go into the numbers, obviously the past 2 years, what we've seen, and when you think about well-known, famous fashion brands, sadly we've seen a lot of businesses, a lot of stores closing in the US, in Europe, and across the globe. So question to you is what's your take on fashion, both online and offline?
Great, thank you, Kunbi. The first is that if we look at fashion, apparel, clothing, and we look at it in other categories, what you see is kind of the overall growth and penetration of online. And in clothing, it's currently around 22% online penetration. Where we see the potential is if you look at a country like China, where penetration of online sales for that category is up to 70%. So it's a significant growth of double digits that we see. And we see that not only in clothing, but also in other categories like personal care and others as well. But as Kunbi mentioned and asked, is it only the online? And our view would be, no, online will be growing, offline is growing, online will be growing at a higher rate. But the physical stores have a role, but the nature of them will change. And it's really the importance of bringing a digital-first mindset to that overall customer experience, and that even when consumers are shopping in a physical space, it's seamless and it's connecting with an online environment.
Yeah, I think the point we wanted to make here is there's you might have some perception sometimes, and the reality is like it's a tale of two worlds, right? You've seen offline stores maybe closing down, but online exploding. And that's a key takeaway we want you to take from this. So when I used to work at Line, one question I always ask my audience, how many apps do you use every day? And a couple of years back, it was like always 3, 4, or 5. You can count them on the fingers of one hand. Yeah. But times have changed. Yeah. And what if I ask the same question today?
Yeah, from 3 to 4 in 2020, we see that that number was at 5.2. And if we look at today, which is 2021, that figure has gone up to 7.9 or 8. And what it points to is a couple of things, right? We talked about how COVID has really accelerated the behavior change of many consumers to go, be more comfortable discovering products and services online, transacting products and services online. And what it is really around variety. We see that consumers across Southeast Asia are much more open to discovering new brands, new products, new services. They're going to look for common places where they can do that discovery, but that place has increased in variety from just kind of a select few. And in addition to kind of the place in which consumers are discovering, engaging, buying, and shopping, the nature in which they do it is also shifting. In Southeast Asia, we see that the importance and the rise of social commerce is significant, right? Over 20% of all kind of retail sales is actually done via social commerce. And Kunbi, just from your experience at Line, how did you see the rise and the importance of social commerce going?
Yeah, so obviously, I've always been a big believer and a big fan of social commerce. And if you look at the numbers, for Thailand, but also for the region, you can see that social commerce is 38% of e-commerce. 38%. And to be honest, I'm quite sure that this number is probably higher right now. Yeah. And this is something that's quite unique to Thailand, but also the Southeast Asia region, where we're very social in nature. So what it also means is, if you look at social commerce and you compare that to marketplaces, it's not the same. You don't find the same categories, right? And the top selling categories on social commerce are beauty and cosmetics, food, and fashion.
The last theme that we see, as going forward as well, has really been, we talked about consumers coming onto online a lot more, and they're looking across a variety of different sites, but there's still a limit to what sites they go through. So the other side of this is also, if you're a brand, if you're a merchant, how do you participate and how do you capture this opportunity? And we did a survey recently, and through the COVID situation, 1 in 3 merchants said that they would not have survived COVID if they weren't able to be participating as part of platforms. Because the platforms are where it's creating the congregation of the user demand, and it's really allowing the brands to gain that visibility. And we see that going forward, the importance of these platforms are going to be even more. Over 50% of a merchant sales we expect will come from listing on platforms going forward.
And there's one number that we didn't want to put on the slide because couldn't find the source, but apparently right now we have 5 million sellers and brands online. 5 million, right? I mean, On one hand, it's a great thing because it means that we see a greater adoption of digital and e-commerce across the board. But on the flip side, you are 1 in 5 million brands which are online. You know. And so, well, think about this. How do you stand out? How do you become visible to consumers? You know, and going back to the point that Derek was saying, I think that's the power of platforms. This is where you have a concentration of users. And David will touch on that later on. So a quick wrap up and key takeaways of what we've been talking about. It's a $1 trillion industry by 2030. So this is not going to slow down, only going to grow. 350 million online shoppers across the region. 7.9 shopping apps being used by consumers. So what this means, and I forgot to say that earlier, this is no longer a winner-takes-all market. Because we spend so much time online that we cannot be just spending time on a couple of apps. So the behavior has completely changed. And lastly, as we were saying, we're going to see 50% of revenue of sales from these brands happening online.
So thank you, Kumbi, for summarizing that. And so in summary, it really is an exciting opportunity. In our report with Bain, Google, and Temasek, what we really call this next decade is the roaring 20s, because we do see the potential going forward. So thank you for letting us share with you just a few summaries of how we see the future of e-commerce in Southeast Asia. Thank you, Kap.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kun Bien, Kun Derek, for sharing the future of e-commerce in Southeast Asia เอาละค่ะก็ได้ฟังผู้บริหารทั้งสองได้มีการกล่าวกันไปแล้วนะคะธุรกิจe-commerce เนี่ยจะเป็นส่วนสำคัญในการขับเคลื่อนเศรษฐกิจนะคะไม่เพียงแต่ในประเทศไทยแต่ก็รวมไปถึงทั่วเอเชียตะวันออกเฉียงใต้โดยคาดกันว่ายอดขายสินค้าออนไลน์นั้นจะแตะ1 ล้านล้านเหรียญสหรัฐภายในปี 2030 นะคะด้วยจำนวนผู้ใช้อินเทอร์เน็ตที่เติบโตอย่างชัดเจนหันมาช้อปปิ้งออนไลน์กันมากขึ้นนะคะโดยเฉพาะในช่วงสถานการณ์โควิดเมื่อสักครู่ก็เห็นตัวเลขแล้วนะคะว่ามีผู้ใช้เนี่ยถึงมากกว่า350ล้านคนในปัจจุบันในขณะที่ผู้ขายเองก็หันมาทำธุรกิจออนไลน์มากขึ้นนะคะมีผู้ค้าถึงกว่า5ล้านรายนะคะที่คุณบีบอกเมื่อสักครู่ก็คงจะแสดงให้เห็นนะคะว่านี่จะเป็นปัจจัยสำคัญในการผลักดันการเติบโตของธุรกิจอีคอมเมิร์ซในอนาคตค่ะเอาละค่ะในช่วงต่อไปนะคะเราจะมาติดตามภาพรวมความสำเร็จขององค์กรในรอบปีที่ผ่านมาแล้วก็ทิศทางธุรกิจในปีนี้กับท่านประธานกรรมการบริหารของทางบริษัทนะคะ And now, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great delight to introduce you to the key man who will be sharing Pomelos milestones and directions for 2022 and beyond. So please warmly welcome Mr. David Joe, co-founder and CEO of Pomelo Fashion. ขอเสียงปรบมือดังๆต้อนรับคุณเดวิดโจด้วยค่ะ
Hi, welcome and thank you for coming to our event today. It's been so long since I've seen many of you, so thank you for making the trek out. We appreciate it. Today I'm going to share a little bit about our vision for the future and our goals over the next few years as we continue to tackle the fashion and lifestyle vertical in Southeast Asia. First of all, I would love it if you could join us in celebrating our 9th birthday. So thank you very much for coming. Here you have some of the influencers in our community that we work with every day. So we ask them to help celebrate our birthday, and every moment is really a moment to celebrate with our community of influencers, our customers, as well as other brands and partners. So, our vision is to build a platform for fashion-focused women. And we want to offer the hottest brands and the latest trends. That's our positioning within the soon-to-be trillion-dollar digital economy. In terms of our mission, we want to be the leading omni-channel fashion and lifestyle platform in Southeast Asia. And I'll talk a little bit about why omnichannel is so important for our vertical. So if I may, I'll just recap a little bit our journey. So in 2013, I started Pomelo with my co-founders and a small team right here in Bangkok. And we started with the vision to build a digitally native, vertically integrated brand. And we would build it through social media. We would take data from the users to build products that they want and get it directly in the hands of our customers. That was the vision. And as with any startup, we had to find product market fit, grow our business, and we soon started to really take off thanks to our users and our community. The next step for us was really in 2018 when we started our omni-channel journey. So we started to see that one of the biggest issues in fashion e-commerce is the inability to try the product on for fit, quality, and comfort before making the purchase. And we know this is a key purchase criteria for the fashion consumer. So we opened stores and we also introduced Tap, Try, Buy, which is our omni-channel solution. Now, our stores are not just regular retail stores. They're a place where we can tell our brand story, acquire users for our platform, provide various services, including Tap, Try, Buy. And I think that's really the key. You know, we found that a retail model that works for our business and for our users. The next big step for us came in 2019. We have a very strong community of users, customers, partners, and consistently the feedback was, we want greater product assortment. We want more brands. We want more products on your platform, right? Can we get the Pomelo experience, but for other brands and product categories? So we jumped right in. That started in 2019. Today we have over 500 brands on the platform, and it's a major focus for our business to grow that assortment and that customer love through our partnership with some of the world's most amazing brands. In 2021, we launched Prism, which is our brand services arm. Basically, all of the things that we learned and built along the way, we have turned into a variety of services to help our partners, brands, sellers be successful, right? And Jean, our CMO, will touch more on that a bit later. So what does our brand stand for, right? Our private label brand. It's tech-enabled. We take millions of data points, we bring them all together to create the best product possible for our users. Pomelo is also a brand with purpose. Very early on, we recognized the importance of sustainability, and we've been working diligently to try to transform our supply chain to create sustainable products throughout our brand. Today, about 30% of our products are sustainable, and we're strongly committed to increasing that number over the next few years. The third, Pomelo is a trendsetter. We're always looking for the next trend, and it can come from social, it can come from our community, it could come from other brands, and that's really the spirit. Create those special moments where people can share their style, express their style. Lastly, Pomelo is uniquely localized to Southeast Asia. So our brand specifically targets customers in this region. And that makes us truly unique because we can take all of the data points and pick the colors, the fit, the silhouette that's perfect for our customers in these markets. So what are our differentiators? One, our fashion-first assortment. Two, UI, UX specifically for our customer. Okay? Buying fashion, you want to see content. You want to be inspired. You want to know what to mix and match your clothes with. You want to know how the clothing feels. You want to have a great return experience. All of that's very important. And that's what we mean by UI, UX for her. Inclusive communities, right? Fashion is for everyone. And that's our focus, to allow everybody to express their sense of style. And lastly, sustainability champion. We have a lot of work to do, but this is a big area of focus for us, and we would like to take a leadership position with regards to this topic. Okay, so today we are a true fashion super app. We've got our brand. We have other brands on Pomelo, which is growing extremely fast. And then we have the channels. So today, 51% of our sales come from e-commerce, 24% from Tap, Try, Buy, our signature omni-channel solution, and 25% come from our retail stores. In terms of categories, today we have apparel, shoes, bags, accessories, beauty, home and living, and activewear. And here you can see the number of brands in each of those categories. We are focused on finding the best brands, the most loved brands, whether they're international or local, Thai, Indonesian, Singaporean, Malaysian. It doesn't matter. If our customers and our community wants that brand, we're going to get it. So let's look back at 2021. We had a lot of interesting milestones. We launched our app in the Philippines. We opened our first physical store in Malaysia, which will be one of many to come. We launched other brands, so the platform in Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia. We also launched Prism, the brand services that I mentioned earlier. And we also had to adapt a bit to COVID. And we took our signature Tap, Try, Buy experience and modified it so that it could be enjoyed in the comfort of our customers' homes, which is Tap, Try, Buy at home. We also began our upcountry expansion with regards to our physical footprint. And finally, we onboarded over 500 brands throughout the year. So let's talk a little bit about 2022 and beyond. So our goal is to grow our GMV by 260% over the next couple of years. In terms of how we're going to get there, we're going to be investing over 1 billion baht into marketing and content only. And in terms of the spend, we'll be focusing on targeting new audiences, introducing new product categories and brands, and growing in our international geographies. Second, our stores, which are not just physical stores, but really customer touchpoints, we will double over the next couple of years. So we'll go from 27 to 54 retail stores across Southeast Asia. Third, we plan to increase the number of brands on our platform to 500 to 2,000 over the same time period, focusing on new categories, new price points, and new brands that our customers are looking for. Finally, let's talk a little bit about technology. Technology is such a fundamental part of our business. Kun Apple, our Chief People Officer, will talk a little bit about what fashion tech means to us, but all I can say is that it's as much in our DNA as is fashion. I just want to highlight 4 things in terms of our technology. So the first is our proprietary integrated supply chain management technology stack. So this allows us to integrate with our supply chain partners to reduce lead times, seamlessly manage production and quality, and also speed up the time in which we can get products to market. So this is extremely important. The second is intelligent demand forecasting. We have a lot of partners here in the fashion industry. We all know how challenging it can be to manage our inventory, and it has a direct impact on both sales and bottom line. So we have a big team of data scientists, machine learning experts, specifically working on machine learning algorithms to tackle the question of how much should I order, at what price should this product be sold, at what time should it be marked down, and other key commercial decisions that, frankly, AI and machine learning can probably do a little bit better than us humans. The third is really the personalization algorithms that we're building in-house. Fashion and lifestyle is a lot like content. Everybody has slightly different taste and preference. The faster you can find the products that your users want, the more successful you will be. So this is a big area of focus for us. And lastly, it's the omni-channel experience that I already talked about. Those are the 4 core technology pillars that we are focused on as a company. With that, I conclude my section of the presentation. Thank you again for coming. It's really great to see you. Thanks again for helping us celebrate our 9th birthday. Thank you.
Thank you very much คุณ David ล่ะค่ะก็เรียกได้ว่าได้ฟังมุมมองของ CEO และ Co-founder กันไปเรียบร้อยแล้วนะคะคุณเดวิดก็ได้เล่าให้ฟังถึงทิศทางธุรกิจรวมไปถึงแผนการขยายงานนะคะการรองรับการเติบโตที่ชัดเจนนะคะซึ่งเราก็เห็นตัวเลขจากปีที่แล้วนี่เติบโตอย่างสวยงามนะคะถึง60%เมื่อเทียบกับปีก่อนหน้านะคะส่วนการตั้งเป้าในปี 2023 แล้วก็ในอนาคตอันใกล้ก็เรียกได้ว่ามีแผนจะทำให้ GMV นั้นเติบโตสูงถึง260%ด้วยกันนะคะซึ่งก็เกิดขึ้นได้จากการลงทุนในกิจกรรมทางการตลาดนะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็นการลงทุนในกิจกรรมมาร์เก็ตติ้งที่ต้องใช้เงินถึง 1,000 ล้านบาทนะคะการขยายสาขาจาก 27 เป็น 54 แห่งในภูมิภาคเอเชียตะวันออกเฉียงใต้แล้วก็ยังมีการเพิ่มแบรนด์นะคะถึง 2,000 แบรนด์เข้ามาสู่แพลตฟอร์มอีกด้วยค่ะทั้งหมดนี้ขับเคลื่อนด้วยเทคโนโลยีแล้วก็นวัตกรรมที่เราได้ฟังกันไปนะคะเพื่อเป็นการสร้างประสิทธิภาพในการทำงานแล้วก็มอบประสบการณ์ที่ดีให้กับลูกค้าบนพื้นฐานการทำธุรกิจด้วยความยั่งยืนค่ะเอาละค่ะในช่วงต่อไปนะคะเราจะมาเจาะลึกในส่วนของกลยุทธ์กันแล้วนะคะว่าทาง Pomelo นั้นจะมีกลยุทธ์ใดๆกันบ้างนะคะบนแพลตฟอร์มที่น่าสนใจค่ะ And next, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to dive deep into the strategy of growing the Pomelo brand and platform by Mr. Sean Thomas, CMO of Pomelo Fashion ขอเสียงปรบมือดังๆต้อนรับคุณ Sean Thomas ประธานเจ้าที่บริหารฝ่ายการตลาดของ Pomelo Fashion ค่ะ
Okay, I think, as David said, we had a pretty amazing year at Pomelo in 2021. I think I just want to cover what we're going to do in the coming years and what actually we're going to do with that $1 billion investment in marketing and content. Obviously, scale that matters. Pomelo, we had about 50 million visitors in 2021. But if you think about it, actually, it just scratched the surface because obviously it was all about fashion. Now we say we're going to expand categories. So it's really like for us, like how do we scale that amount of visitors to be like tapping into every single woman in Southeast Asia. The second part is the growth of Pomelo for the brands. We grew the brands by 250% in 2021. We have like big plan for the coming years again. As David mentioned earlier, today we have 500 brands on the platform. And we want to grow that to 2,000 brands on the platform. We want to grow also our categories, whether it's expanding on beauty, activewear, home and living, among others. So I think for us, it's really like, how do we reach to the masses? The third part is around SKU or styles, as I guess how we call it in fashion. Today across Southeast Asia, we have 50,000 SKUs, and I think for us, it's very important two parts. The first one is around curation. I think we do not want to be the place to have every single product in fashion. We want to be the place to have all the best products in fashion from both local and international brands. That's, I think for us, like a very key part. The second part is we want to make sure that the product that we have, we're just going to present them to the customer in the right way. And that's what, personalization come in for us. So again, having the best brands, having the best products, and then making sure that you get in front of the right customer. So that's really our core focus in the coming years as well. Obviously, as we said, like the big differentiator from Pomelo as a platform is we are the platform which is actually a truly omni-channel platform compared to any other. I just wanted to cover a few things. So, as we said earlier, 51% of our sales come from e-commerce, 24% from Tap Try Buy, and then 25% from offline. Actually, we found a few ways as well during even the pandemic to, kind of like Tap Try Buy was not available since some of the retail stores were closed. But actually, that's where we launched our Tap Try Buy from home, which is basically ability for customers to use the same service as Tap Try Buy in stores, but using it directly to their house. And I think we want to continue to innovate in that space. We want to continue to be the true omni-channel platform in Southeast Asia. So really the key for us is really like, how do we enable this now for every single brand that want to join us? So going from maybe a few years ago when we did that just for Pomelo to doing it for 2,000 brands across Southeast Asia, and to provide basically the best customer experience in the market. Next part, I just want to cover around extensive geographical presence. So we are trading as like selling products within all the main markets you see here except China. China is mostly where we have some of our warehouses. We have 4 offices in total. Obviously, we have 27 stores now. I'm going to grow it to 7 more this year. And Philippines, as you can see, is still like quite new, but we also have planned to expand in the future, whether it's for teams, warehouses, and create the same omni-channel experience for our customer in the Philippines. I think really like the key takeaway is we want that experiences to be available in every single market, whether it's the platform, the omni-channel, the retail stores, and so forth. Our community, very important to us. As we say, we would not be here if the customer were not with us. I think we're very proud of some of these stats. So we have today over 3 million followers across our social platform and across Southeast Asia. Just actually a few days ago, we just overreached 100,000 followers on Instagram. So I think it'll be soon enough this year that we'll reach the million mark, I suppose. And we're reaching about 1.6 billion people in total. So I think, like, again, just to emphasize on this a little bit, our community is the reason also why we're doing this, whether it's our community of customers or our community of brands. So yeah, I think 2022, we are ready for it. And I just want to go through a bit some of the more details planned around it. So obviously, #1 fashion destination is what we strive for, want to be. As we said, we want to grow our GMV by 2x, and how we're going to do that. So again, we want to grow our exclusive range. We want to have more brands on the platform, more styles, and then more categories, whether we said it's activewear, beauty. We saw on some of the slides earlier, we still don't have like, a large enough amount of brands on the platform, so we want to grow that. I think the next part is really around international market. When we look at Pomelo today in Thailand, I think it's a very complete picture. I think we want to continue to like further grow that picture, whether it's in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in Singapore, in the Philippines, and we're targeting like in the coming year to grow by 5x on this one. New audiences. So again, if we want to grow, we obviously need to reach new audiences. I think the key takeaway for us is that we really want to reach to the mass. And I think the point of going also from a brand to a platform is that the platform will also appeal to a larger majority of women. And I think how we're going to do this again. I think on the marketing side, we want to grow our local content strategy and teams. I think if you look at Pomelo today, it has a bit of an international flair. I think we want to keep some of that, but we also want to make sure that that can be translated properly into each key market. So we're going to grow whether the teams in the local market or the strategy to make it adjusted to it. I think the same way, like we want to make sure that these new audiences is SEA inclusive, and that we continue to grow the brand love. I think like a lot of people, like a lot of our customers look at Pomelo, have a certain brand love, and want to translate that brand love now to the masses. And then the last one, which is I think the quite exciting part for me as well, we are building now like a state-of-the-art fashion studio at our new office, where basically we'll be able to automate and scale further our content creation. So I think this part will be very exciting, and when this finally built, we'll invite some of the brand to come and see it. I think a few things for the brands now. Obviously, like Pomelo is have to also, to succeed, we need to also like please our brand and make sure that they have features that enable them to scale. So I just want to cover like 6 points on what are the key things that will come for this year. So I think the first one, obviously, we want to have a new seller center, really like giving more features and capability to the brand to sell on Pomelo. The next one is around brand pages. So again, going back to what we said earlier, we know content is very important. We want it to be localized. And so we need to be able to provide that content and that image for each of the brands. So I think that's what will come out from the new brand pages. The next one is around connected retail with the dropship model. Cross-border, which I think for me is one of the most exciting. We launched as a pilot for this year, where basically, if you are like a local brand, let's say in Thailand, very rapidly you will basically be able to sell across every single country from Pomelo without having to talk to each country separately. So you would just be able to do it directly when you're on board on Pomelo. So I think this one very exciting, really bringing any local brands to the Southeast Asian region. Then the next one around sponsored product ads. So I think this one more on the marketing side, but really like giving tools. The idea is to give tools really to the brands that they can use in order to promote their products directly on Pomelo without needing maybe our assistance. And then the last one is around CPaaS, which is really enabling the brands to drive traffic directly to their brand pages in order to get more sales. Sorry. So Prism. So actually, like this part is very close to my heart, obviously, because I saw it grow from pretty much zero to today in the past 8 months. So I just want to showcase a bit like a few things. So the first one, Prism, is basically our B2B services. So really leveraging our capabilities and really bringing it to every single brand out there. So we have services that now are built that goes from creative services, which is why also we want to have that state-of-the-art like studio, so we can actually make sure that we can support the scale for the brands. Marketing, when it comes to how do you market your brand, from social media to on-site to any other marketing assets, from also like trading and merchandising of like really helping the brand if they want to like design and manufacture for them and among other services. And I think I'm quite proud of this number because again it's been only 8 months. This is just some of the brands that we're working today. So in the past 8 months we went from 2 people to a much larger team now, and then we went from one or two brands that really wanted to pilot with us to 100 brands in the past 8 months. And I think some of the exciting part is always like, what's the value of Prism, right? And I think for us, we always think that if we can do better content, like if we can do better design and really apply the secret sauce of Pomelo to any other brand, we believe this is, you can get some of the stats that you can see here, which is on average, the sales uplift from this brand that work with us was about 120%, with about 40% increase in conversion rate overall, just to give a bit of an idea. But also it's very exciting to announce as well that Prism will also be not available just for Thai market, but will also be available now for Singapore, Indonesia, and Malaysia in 2022. Actually, we're starting just to have our first clients in Indonesia at the moment. So I think this part is really exciting. Again, we want to provide solution that brands are engaged with. And obviously, if any of you are interested, you can reach out directly to us and we can go through some of our ideas. That's it, I think, for my part. Thank you very much for your time today. And I hope we can have a great 2022 together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kun Chong, for sharing the information as to how you'll be growing the brand Pomelo and through the platforms. เอาละค่ะสรุปให้ฟังคร่าวๆนะคะในสิ่งที่คุณชองได้กล่าวไปนะคะคือในปีที่ผ่านมาเนี่ยถ้าดูตัวเลขของลูกค้าที่ทาง Pomelo ได้มีการต้อนรับทั้งออนไลน์และใจผู้บริโภคแล้วก็จะเป็นอีกหนึ่งประสบการณ์ในการสร้างการเติบโตแล้วก็ที่สำคัญนั้นปัจจุบันยอดขายจาก Tap Try Buy เนี่ยอยู่ที่24%เลยนะคะแล้วก็จะมีการเปิด7 สาขาใหม่ในประเทศไม่ว่าจะเป็นประเทศไทยมาเลเซียสิงคโปร์นะคะโดยสิงคโปร์ปีนี้เองก็จะได้เห็นการเปิดตัวของแพลตฟอร์ม Prism นะคะที่คุณชองได้บอกไปนะคะซึ่งจริงแล้วเป็นแพลตฟอร์มที่สามารถช่วยยกระดับการเติบโตให้กับแบรนด์ต่างๆที่เข้ามาเป็นพันธมิตรนะคะเพราะดูจากตัวเลขเมื่อสักครู่ Sale Uplift นั้นก็สูงถึง 120% ด้วยกันค่ะฉะนั้นการตั้งเป้า GMV นะคะถึง2 เท่าแล้วก็รวมไปถึงการเติบโตในต่างประเทศถึง5 เท่าก็คงไม่ไกลเกินเอื้อมนะคะในประเด็นต่อไปเราจะมาดูกันในเรื่องของการเป็น Fashion Tech Culture กันแล้วนะคะว่าจะมีเนื้อหาสาระอย่างไรกันนะคะ Alright, ladies and gentlemen, after listening to the success and the business directions of Pomelo Fashion this year, next I'd like to invite Kun Piyanut Limaporn Wanit, who is the Chief People Officer of Pomelo Fashion. She'll be telling us more about the fashion tech culture of the company and the employees who are at the heart of the success. ขอเสียงปรบมือดังๆต้อนรับท่านประธานเจ้าที่บริหารทรัพยากรบุคคล Pomelo ค่ะคุณปิยพรหรือคุณแอปเปิลนะคะ
Sawadika. Good morning, everyone. And I am Piyanut Limaporn, Chief People Officer at Premelo Fashions. And today I'm very honored to be here, to be a part of the celebrations of 9-year anniversary for Premelo Fashion. Right? Pomelo is not just only about their high quality fashion products. It's not just only about the cutting edge technologies, and it's about people. Right? So. And before we're talking about their definitions of their fashion tech cultures, let's talk a little bit about the people's agenda, right? So I think like the people here is that I'm very proud to be a part of Premelo Fashions because the work that we are doing is not just only the product that we want to deliver to the market, but the thing that we are doing is bigger than us, right? And we at Pomelos, we know by our hearts that we have the missions to deliver that to the market. So let's see the definition of fashion technologies, right? The fashion tech that I'm trying to say. I believe every business is the technology business, especially in the past 2-3 years when the COVID-19 hits us. It drives us from the fashions industry to be more and more technology focused and digital focused. And at Pomelos, technology is helping us to drive and then to enabling and to disrupt the fashion industry. And we strive to achieve the groundbreaking developments at the focal point where the fashions meet tech. So shaping the future of work and retail. What I said earlier is the work that we are doing is bigger than us. It's bigger than our Pomelos peoples because we have to believe that the work that we are doing is shaping the ecosystem. It's shaping the future of retail industry. And also it's shaping the future of work in the region, which I mean Thailand and Southeast Asia, right? And also recently, I go through one research. It's the consulting firm research, and it said that 88% believe that the workplace needs to change, and that is from PwC. And in Premelo, we love doing the questionnaires, right? If you are the Premelo peoples in this room, we love doing the questionnaire with our people, right? So we call it the People's Premelo People Say Survey. And it said the same that 84% of our employees want the workplace to change. And that is the drive that we're creating the hybrid working arrangements that I'm going to talk through in the later part, right? So even the thing changed, technology changes, workplace need to change. One thing that is there in our core and close to our people hearts at Pomelos is our strong culture. What we believe is the 5 core values here. And it makes us who we are today. And it's directly impact to the business performance. Because we practice the core values every day, we make decisions based on the core values that we create together. Starting from the first one, wow our customer. We know what the customer wants before they know that they want it. That is the first one. The second one is entrepreneur at heart. We encourage our people to be creative, to think outside the box, to be data-driven, and at the same time, don't forget to have fun, right? And the third one is we, not me. Be collaborative, supportive, help each other, and we believe that the teamwork will really make the dream work at Premelos. The fourth one is be curious. We want them to be the best version of themselves. Don't be other persons, be you, but be the better you every day. That is be curious. And keep exploring, keep learning, and keep developing. The last one is never, never, never give up. And I said the word never 3 times. And it's the true core value that we make the word never 3 times. Because of what? Because it's never easy working in this startup fashion tech environments, right? The Premelo people don't sign up for the easy job. We sign up for the challenging job. And that makes us never give up, right? And this is our strong cultures that we nurture and we exhibit every day at Pomelo Fashion. So you hear a lot about, like the strategies, the business strategies, growth strategies, what it's gonna look like in 2022, right? But let me talk through a little bit about the future-ready organizations. Because when we try to make our, business ready for the future, at the same time, we want to equip our people to be ready for the future as well. So there are 4 themes here that I put down that we are focusing in 2022, right? Starting from inclusive communities. The second one is dynamic hybrid workplace. Third is Premelo learnings. And the last one is the work that matters. So let me walk through one by one for a better understanding about Premelo culture. Starting from inclusive communities. Diversities, equities, and inclusion, DE&I. I think like you heard a lot about this terminology this day, and I believe that almost every organization practice or doing the DE&I at the foundation as well as Premelo, right? So when we are talking about DE&I, not just only about genders, not only about generations or age group, but it's about the diverse talent workforce that we have. I'm talking about the diversity of the skill set that we have in the company. We're having like technologies, specialists. We're having BI peoples. We have, marketing guys. Also, we have construction managers in the office, or even we have the makeup artists in Premelo fashion, right? You see, is it the diverse workforce that we have, and that creating the innovations. Gender equal workforce is another agenda that we are heavily working on right now. Even we are the populations in Pomelos actually is a female dominance. 68% of us, in the workforce, we are female, and the age group of our, workforce is 28 years old. You can see it's very young, dynamic organizations. But I'm trying to talk here is about women in technology. Right? I think if you see around, you see the numbers or percentage of women in technology is very small, right? In other companies. But in Pomelos, 45% of technology departments, there are women, right? And then we are so proud in these, women in technology communities. We even give them more space to experience more, to learn more, and to lead the workforce. And the last one is Pomelo Club. I'm putting down here is because it is very, representing Pomelo very well, right? Because, like I said earlier, we are a fun company, right? We love to have fun outside working hours or even like within working hours, right? So we create the Pomelo Club actually to nurture the passions that our people have in common. So now we open for applications. We have about 4 or 5 clubs that we are launching. This is about board game club. And we have, meditation club and other club. So that is to confirm that Premelo's Fashions is a place that our employee can showcasing their passion. Next is about dynamic hybrid workplace, and I'm very happy and so proud to announce that Pomelo is shifting in this dynamic hybrid workplace direction 100%. We are free from where and when. Okay, so and then we talk a lot about the flexible work arrangements, FWA. What is it, right? Is it about, the people's status that you can change from part-time to full-time or change from full-time to part-timers? Or if you want to doing leave without pay, losing something that you are interested in, like, maybe doing a study or doing, different passion that you have, or even you have the hardship in your family in some specific point in time, we allow you to do that because we believe that people don't want to leave you. They just want to have the different setup to support different needs in some specific point in time, right? And the last one is Premelo Work Week. This is the example that I want to a little bit showcase here because it's a new initiative that we just announced a few weeks back, right? Why is Premelo Work Week? It's related to the new developments that we are seeing a lot in the market, that employee actually, they want something else. They don't want like the typical work week, and especially in Premelo, we are pretty unique, right? So in Pomelos, this is our work week look like. Sorry that I, Okay, on Mondays, we focus on productivities and effectiveness. On Tuesday, we even like elevating the productivities. On Wednesday, we call it Focus Day by, under learning. And that I will talk to the parts. And we made the Wednesday the meeting-free days by minimizing all the distractions, instant messaging, and also minimize the meeting time. Thursday is about ideation. We wanted people to collectively come together to create a new idea, doing the workshop, or like working together to solve the issue that you had in the past 2 weeks. And Friday is Mingle Days. It's about networking, partying, and social gatherings. Actually, there's no rules on Friday. And I think like we just introduced it, but we'll see what is the result or ROI after we launch this Premelo Work Week. Let's see. Okay, so Premelo Learning, right? So not only marketing technologies that we investing in, we're also investing in learnings because we believe that people will help you go farther than what you are, right? So there are 3 ways of learning in Premelos. On-the-job learnings, you learn from what you are doing. Collaborations, you learn from the people that you interact with. And the last one is learning platforms that we partner with the global brands named Udemy. And this is what we work together with them, with Udemy. This 2022 Power Skills, actually the research from Udemy that they did for the whole Asia Pacific. And then they said, hey, 2022 Power Skill is the top 4. It means that if you are in the workforce in this year, you need to possess all these 4 skills. And they call it the power skill, not a soft skill anymore, because it's the power that accelerates you to the next level. Communication, teamwork, leadership management, productivity, collaborations, and personal development and wellness. This is the top 4. And we are emphasizing our peoples at Premelo to possess this skill. And the last one is work that matters. What is work that matters, right? I think people defining achievements in different way, right? And people defining the term of success in different meaning for each people. The work that matters for us is really the work that we are doing that matters to your career, that matters to people's goal, and also that matters to the industry. The example that I put here is the first one, innovating shopping experience. I think David already mentioned about Tap Try Buy, right? This is the innovations that happened 2 years back that we created and then delivered to the market. And I think it changed the whole experience of shopping. And that is the innovation that we are so proud of. The second thing is addressing sustainability heads-on. Environmental is the agenda that we cannot avoid. And we also need to, working heavily and invested in, as well as in Pomelos. Since 2021, we, double down on these sustainability agendas, and the product that we produce, like T-shirts or denims, it made from the earthly, eco-friendly process. Right? And the last one that we are so proud of is developing talent for the future. It's not just only we developing the talent for ourselves. I think it's, we are on the missions to developing the talent for the fashion, e-commerce, startup industry. Okay, and lately I want to share a little bit that we opened for the internship program at Premelos. Right? So this year we have 1,000 applications come in. We receive about that numbers almost every year. And then this year we managed to offer 50 interns, 50 interns, which is very sad to say. We want to have more, but we still want to have to make them have the good experience for our interns. So we can offer only 50 people, which is only 5%. Right? The interns say it's getting harder and harder to get into Premelo internship. Why? What is the reason, right? So the reasons that actually the interns talk among themselves is the job that we are giving to them is not the day-to-day job. The job that we are giving to them is the projects that is impactful and meaningful for their career and for their future. And we will continue doing it because, like I said, it's not just only for Pomelo fashions, but because for the industry. I believe that what I, share with you during the past 10 minutes give you a better picture about Pomelos, and it gives you an understanding who we are today and who we aspire to be in the future. And that is Pomelo Fashions, our fashion tech culture. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the CPO of Pomelo Fashion, Kun Piyanut. เอาละค่ะก็สรุปคร่าวๆนะคะในสิ่งที่เราได้รับฟังกันไปนะคะก็ข้อมูลในส่วนของ Fashion Tech Culture นอกจาก Pomelo นั้นจะเป็นบริษัท Fashion Tech ที่มอบผลิตภัณฑ์คุณภาพสูงให้กับลูกค้าแล้วนะคะที่สำคัญก็คือเขาให้ความสำคัญก็คือคนนะคะซึ่งก็อยู่เบื้องหลังความสำเร็จการคิดค้นนวัตกรรมทั้งช่วยเพิ่มศักยภาพแล้วก็รวมไปถึง disrupt อุตสาหกรรมอีกด้วยนะคะร่วมเปลี่ยนแปลงอนาคตของอุตสาหกรรมและการทำงานด้านแฟชั่นนะคะPomelo เองนั้นก็มีแนวคิดที่น่าสนใจด้านการทำงานเมื่อสักครู่ได้ยินเรื่องของ Hybrid Workplace กันนะคะพนักงานเนี่ยสามารถที่จะเลือกได้เลยนะคะว่าอยากจะเข้ามาทำงานนะคะเมื่อไหร่วันไหนแล้วก็ยังมีในเรื่องของ Pomelo Week อีกด้วยนะคะธีมในแต่ละวันนั้นก็เรียกได้ว่าเป็นแนวคิดที่น่าสนใจนะคะฉะนั้นเนี่ยเรื่องของทรัพยากรบุคคลจึงมีความสำคัญมากๆการพัฒนาคุณภาพชีวิตการทำงานนะคะความเป็นอยู่ที่ดีของพนักงานเพิ่มศักยภาพคนผ่านการเรียนรู้มอบโอกาสนะคะความเสมอภาคความเท่าเทียมแล้วก็การเติบโตไปด้วยกันกับองค์กรนั่นเองค่ะเอาละค่ะนั่นก็เป็นเนื้อหาที่เราได้รับฟังกันไปนะคะหลังจากที่เราได้ฟังทิศทางมาถึงจุดนี้แล้วในช่วงต่อไปค่ะวันนี้เราก็รับเกียรติจากพันธมิตรด้วยนะคะพาร์ทเนอร์แบรนด์ของทาง Pomelo จะไปดูกันค่ะว่าจริงๆแล้วการที่เข้ามาร่วมแพลตฟอร์มนี้ Pomelo สามารถที่จะทำให้ยอดขายของเขาเจริญเติบโตได้มากน้อยแค่ไหนเพียงไรนะคะและจากกว่า500แบรนด์ที่อยู่ในแพลตฟอร์มของเราเนี่ยวันนี้เรามีตัวแทนจากแบรนด์ Maybelline F Fashion และรวมไปถึงแบรนด์เสื้อผ้า Pomelo ของเราเองอีกด้วยนะคะก็เดี๋ยวจะมาพูดคุยกันค่ะแล้วก็ในช่วงท้ายนะคะหลังจากนี้ไปเรามี Q&A ถ้าเกิดว่าใครมีคำถามเนี่ย จดได้เลยนะคะหรือว่าจะถามยกมือแล้วก็ขอไมค์เราจะเดินไมค์ไปให้นะคะหรือว่าเขียนมาฝากมาก็ได้นะคะอันนั้นก็จะเป็นช่วงท้ายของการจัดงานค่ะ Alright, ladies and gentlemen, after we heard from the platform side, the directions and the fashion tech culture, it's now about time to hear from the partner brands about how brands can partner with Pomelo to accelerate their growth. So out of 500 brands, we are here with some of our partner brands, including Maybelline, F Fashion, and our very own private label brand Pomelo to share their insights and discuss the future of fashion. Without further ado, please warmly welcome ขอเสียงปรบมือต้อนรับคุณวรดาฮิรันสมบูรณ์รองประธานเจ้าหน้าที่บริหารฝ่ายการซื้อและการออกแบบ Pomelo Fashion นะคะ That's the Vice President, Head of Buying and Design Pomelo Fashion. คุณชัยฤทธิ์ ณ สมยศ ผู้จัดการ Maybelline ประเทศไทย We also have the General Manager of Maybelline Thailand joining us. คุณปราณี สุริยาพร ผู้จัดการฝ่ายขายและฝ่ายปฏิบัติการ F Fashion, Sales and Operations Manager of F Fashion also joining us. All right, so Well, it's supposed to be free seating. You can actually sit anywhere. All right, so it's great to have you joining us in this brief chit-chat at today's press conference. So let's begin with letting our panelists introduce yourselves to our audience, please. Let me begin with Korda.
Sorry. Should I speak like this outside? Or here?
Here.
Here?
Yep.
So it's my first time with the Shield. My name is Varada. I am VP of Buying and Design. So I oversee everything about the product strategy, right? Product development, everything from the design to the end product. So really everything for Pomelo brand. Nice to meet you all.
คุณปราณี
สวัสดีค่ะ ปราณี สุริยาพร Sales and Operation Manager for F Fashion, the fashion of the apparels from the LMB company.
สวัสดีครับทุกคนนะครับ I'm Chairit Nasamiyon. You can call me Jui นะครับ So I'm the general manager for Maybelline Thailand. I just took this role back in November, so it has been almost 5 months. But before that, I had a role in New York and Singapore, and it has been 16 years since I came back home. So it has been so long. A lot has changed, but I look forward to growing the brand. You know, we have big ambition for Maybelline, and I'm so excited to be here with a partner like Pomelo to grow the brand together.
And we're excited to have you here joining us as well. Now, since the pandemic, everything has been a whirlwind. So let me ask you about the changes and the challenges, that you've experienced for your brand, and how did you overcome those challenges, Kunwarda?
Well, the changes that we have seen, I have to say that the biggest change happened 2 years ago when COVID hit at the first time. We have seen that it's true that people start to buy every single thing in online, and the growth is enormous. We have seen a decrease on the demand on the fashion categories because there's no gathering, social gathering, there's no events going on, people work from home. And because of all these factors, people just stop shopping fashion. But that is only very short period, I would say maybe first year. But then on the second year that we have seen a very, very sharp increase in terms of the fashion demand that management also shows you earlier, is the demand came back in very big way, and we could really sell the product that was very, very fashionable. Even before COVID, those products we could sell. And it's also true that the demand on the normal product has changed a little bit in terms of, for example, workwear, right? Right now, our workwear has to be more comfortable, has to be toned down a little bit. And we talked earlier about athleisure, right? We talked earlier about it.
As well.
It's increased. There's a huge demand right now in the platform. And also new category like denim, because everything is more casual, it's more casualizing. And that product like denim or even knit cardigan top category has been increasing significantly. So I think that's a change, and that's a good news as well. I'm very glad to see that fashion is happening again. It just came back to us, right? Now, in terms of challenge, we had many challenges, but I would like to pin out the 2 biggest challenges we have seen. The first one is actually related to the social gathering restriction. So fashion has been very, very close to the consumer in the past 50 years. It has not been changed. People need to go to store and touch and feel the product. It's all about how it fits on you. It's all about how it's all about the fabric. It's all about, well, how it looks on you, right? And so at the beginning of the pandemic, we saw that challenge, like how we connect to our customer the same way that it was in the store, where people would go to store and talk to store staff and select their product. How we change that? That's the very beginning of the pandemic. Now, the second one is about, as I create the product in the company with my team, we all know that to create a product, you need to be in the office, you need to be traveling to the fashion capital. You need to be going to suppliers to see those trimming, those fabric, right, to make the garment happen. And so at the very beginning, we thought it wouldn't be possible to work without traveling, but in fact, we can. It works, and we have learned how to do the two world pretty good now, I would say. The third challenge is about predicting the future. Fashion is all about the future. Anything that we do today, it will be reflected to our customer in the next 3 to 5 months. So it was very hard to predict the future with all uncertainty, and that would be my challenges.
All right. And F Fashion, Pani.
Yes. So since start the COVID-19, it has an impact from the big and small scale business. We have tried to learn and adapt to keep up the going on of the going on. Yes. So the big challenges for our brand is the customer behavior changes. So how can we keep up with their lifestyle, with the behavioral change? I think you can see the number of the consumer of the customer behavior use the smartphone, use the mobile application. They have use this application for help their way of life. So I think this is quite important for us to learn what they changed. Okay, Pomelo is an online platform that we have joined with the partnerships. The key success for me is how to understand what the customer want. The key success is the merchandising. The most important is choosing the right product to the target customer. As the first, our product did not really match the customer, but I try to learn, understand what the customer want by learning and using data analytics to understand. And now we can say that we know what the customer Pomelo want. Or we can say that our sales is increased with the Pomelo. Yes.
Wow. Even Pomelo
One more
brand
thing
itself.
is very important one to share to another person is the Pomelo take the photo picture done by professional from Pomelo is very good for the customer to attract and buy from the picture to understand this style is or this is our us.
All right, so basically from what we've heard, the pandemic has transformed the fashion industry. There's been a demand rethink and more reliance on online channels. So you are valued partners of Pomelo. So the next question comes to the criteria in how you select your partner to help grow your brand and how the Pomelo platform has actually helped you achieve that growth. Kun Chairit?
I thought it was about stay fresh in the multi-brand environment. I can do both, up to you.
All right, let's go ahead with the choosing a partner then.
Choosing a partner, absolutely. So in terms of choosing the partner, I look at it as like finding a partner when you try to get married, right? Or you're dating. You obviously it's a long process of making sure, you find people who have the same values, same target audience, and also like same culture as well. So to me, that's 3 things. So maybe if you have some slides, some picture, of the experience from Maybelline. I don't know whether it's going to go up or not.
Slides, please.
Okay.
There you are.
Yes. Maybe can you go to the next picture, because this one is about the brand experience. Okay, yes. So this is about the three things I'm talking about, right? Like align values, culture, and also basically the team energy. So in terms of value, Maybelline, like we really value diversity and inclusion. We really value like embracing a platform to allow yourself to be creative, and also that spirit, of energy of New York. And Pomelo have absolutely that. I'm so glad, before we talk about diversity and inclusion. And then also, we just, I just showed this picture because we just came out of being the biggest platform partnership with TikTok, in its history, right? So we look for a partner like that to help us grow, to help us capture into our target audience, which on Maybelline, we have to say, like our terms of target audience, we call them zillennials. It's a combination of Gen Z and young millennials. So we call them zillennials, and then we look for them everywhere, right? And you see that on Pomelo, like they're very engaged. I love the fact that on Pomelo you have zillennials who are very engaged with beauty and fashion, and that's what maybe we're looking for. And last but not least, in terms of partnership, look for platform for growth. I'm so impressed. Like I told the team, we have the same energy, like the culture, because I think it's important when you find someone to work together with you. So we find someone, like every time we have a call with Premelo team, I'm so excited because I know that you guys are gonna bring that collaboration, the obsession for growth, which we always there, and also the passion for the team. We're from New York, so our energy is very high. And Pomelo is the same thing, you always have that dynamic conversation. So I have on TikTok, and this is the great partnership with Pomelo that I'm talking about, right? You look at this is our debut on Pomelo platform, and it exceeded our expectation big time. We're talking about bringing the brand to life, in the fashion Pomelo Brand Fest, which is a big deal for you, and we're so excited to be partner, on this critical moment, right? You see backstage moment, the lifestyle content, even like we bring some KOL to New York, to really tell the story about fashion and beauty in the city of New York itself. And then of course, like that out-of-home content like blew our mind away. So that's my answer, to how come like we pick a partner and what are the criteria too. And we look forward to delivering the growth together, with a critical strategic partner like Pomelo.
All right, now speaking about consumers, as we spoke earlier, they're always evolving. Even fashion moves fast. So which brings us to this question.
Yes.
How do you ensure your brand stays fresh in a multi-brand environment? Let me come back to Kun Warada, shall we?
I think because of the reason that I mentioned earlier, like how hard it was to adapt to the new consumer trend, I think something that is very important for the brand is that the brand needs to have the reliable partner in terms of supplier, in terms of supply chain, in terms of everything that related to making the product, because it's very important to be flexible. It's very important to react to the market and have that speed in order to adapt to the market change. So that's the first one, flexibility, not only the process, but also the mindset. And the second one, I think the most important, I would say, is about your products. Really understand your customer. Know what are your core products. Like for Pomelo, for example, I know that majority of our Pomelo girls, when they think about buying a nice dress, they will think about us. If they think about wearing something formal, good-looking, fashionable workwear, they will think about us. If they want to discover something, buy some assortment that they can't find anywhere else, they will think about our famous collaboration, Pomelo X, that we do collaboration not only with fashion brand, but we also do with the platform. Last year we did a viral collaboration with TikTok, and that went very, very viral. So I think you really need to have your core product strong and stay true to your core. And I think this is the most important thing. Now, the third thing is about the people, the team. And I just would like to stress what Piapo just mentioned earlier. Pomelo, we have a great team. We have the best in class in the company in every single area. I don't want to name it all, but we have Pomelo brand, everything from design, buying, technical people to do fitting, PD, right? We have our very professional team. We have marketing team, great content team, and very well-known content team that a lot of brands want the service from us. And it's very important to have that team, strong team, and be able to execute the strategy. Because without the team, really, most of the strategy wouldn't be succeed.
And that happens on Thursdays? Pomelo Thursdays?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Kun Prani, would you like to add on this matter? Making your brand stay fresh?
I think how to make the brand fresh in the Pomelo is in the Pomelo online. First thing is Pomelo is I think Tap Thai Buy is you create the online shopping to the customer is the one fresh online, the leading online to provide the customer. For my brand, Pomelo have a big campaign in every month. We have a new arrival drop. We should join to every drop. They provide the product to the right product, choosing the right product to our target customer. That's why sales will be increased in every brand.
We have our famous brand fest
Yes.
almost every month, and that's just super successful.
Yeah.
Very big for the brand, including Pomelo brand.
What about Maybelline?
Sure, I can add on to this question. So to me, to stay fresh, right, so critical. I work in so many beauty markets around the world, and Thailand is one of the most competitive, right? Consumers are very engaged, they're very sophisticated, and we have really strong local competition here. So the ability to stay fresh, that's a premium for our brand, right? So with Pomelo, I think the key is it's a platform that allows us to connect and tell the story to our target audience in a meaningful and relevant way. So maybe if we can show this slide, I'm super excited to show this, and this is the very first time that I think a lot of you will see, so if you can show the slide for Maybelline.
Something new coming up?
It's coming up, I'm sure,
When's that
but this is a top secret, right?
Top
You'll see it, yes, you'll see it this coming Friday. But since you guys mentioned earlier about the 9th birthday with Pomelo, right? So we're along the journey with you. We're celebrating the birthday of our iconic product as well. It's called Super Stay Matting. We have a 5th birthday collection, right? So it's an iconic product. We want to celebrate that. If you go back to the previous slide.
I love that product.
You love that,
It's a great
right?
product.
Yes, it's amazing.
I love all of your products.
One more. The previous one. Yes.
This one?
So we are launching this exclusive collection at Pomelo, right? But the idea is to make sure we stay omni as much as possible. So we bring in consumers, this is super new. This is probably the first time they see this as well, so because my team prepared this for me. But we bring the experience in both online and offline, right? And I think it was just one of the very first time in Thailand that we can do that. And we can only do that because of Pomelo. You have an online experience where you can see on the top, they're really engaged with this limited collection. It's exclusive with 5 shades, right, for our iconic Super Stay Matting. Then we tell the story online and we bring it to offline, in store, at Pomelo, at the Quartier location, I think this coming Thursday and Friday. We are bringing this experience in Pomelo store, starting with the mirror experience. The most important thing, I think people are going to line up for it as well, is we're bringing a personal colorist, to make sure you can pick. Took me so long to find my perfect lipstick shades, right? So these personal colorists will go to Pomelo store, work with the client one by one, really engage consumers, telling both cosmetics and fashion story at the same time. We're so excited. So anyone, please check it out, right? It's coming Friday. It's going to be a long line, but you have to be patient to get into Pomelo.
Please go to the store and check Maybelline collaboration with Pomelo as well as our Pomelo Girl collection.
Yeah,
launching as well.
Exactly.
Especially for birthday.
That's amazing. And then we look forward to doing more collaborations like this in the future.
I'm excited. I'll definitely check that out. Now, before we wrap things up, let's take a look at the business climate as we look ahead. How are things this year, and what are your anticipations? What are your upcoming plans, Kunwarada?
Okay. So we have a few very exciting projects. So the first one will be about more collaboration, different way of collaboration with the Pomelo brand and also with platform. So there's a few names that I cannot reveal yet, but we will be launching soon the second part of the brand collaboration, and a lot more in the pipeline. We continue to have those exciting licensing coming up on the monthly basis as usual. So that's going to be super exciting. Can I reveal this, that Urban Revival will do collab with L'Oreal? Oh, so this is a type of surprising collaboration that we are looking at. Not only product, not only garment, but cross brand, cross industry collaboration. The second one will be about sustainability. And I think after pandemic, I start hearing a lot more conversation about sustainability, and it's not really only about nice product, right? It's not only the dress that fits good on you, but it's about how we make those dresses, those garments, those clothes, right? And so it's something that the team will continue to work on, exploring different way of making product to be less contaminating to the earth. And the team is still working on it. We have a lot to do still. But this is our main objective definitely for this year and upcoming years. The third one will be about creating special product for different channels. As you guys heard already from the management team, mentioned about we're growing so much in online, but we still keep our retail footprint, and we are going to expand to the international market. It's very important to have products specifically for them. And so what we're going to do is that we're going to be creating special product for online customer, because the buying behavior and the product preferences, price point are completely different. And we're going to be creating special product for retail store as well, because the nature of the retail buying also different, as well as the international market. And we have such a huge database, right, called demand forecasting that Kun David mentioned earlier. I'm the end user, and I have to say that too is fascinating. We have so many data from the past 9 years for our Pomelo girls, and we know exactly what they want or what they're going to be wanting in the future.
And of course, you have the AI to help generate ideas, designs, and also prices, right, to meet your market demand.
Excuse me?
I said you have the artificial intelligence, the technology that you use to help generate whatever
Yes.
the customers want through the big data you have.
Exactly. Fashion is about art and science, and I think if we can have the science part right, everything else will be fine. Yeah.
Kun Chairit, what's your outlook for the year 2022? Is it looking beautiful?
Absolutely. I always look at things at the bright
Fabulous.
side, right? Yes. But to me, like the outlook for the year, I think I predict a big comeback in beauty and fashion, right? After many years of COVID, people are excited, and I hope we can go out, like party, engage with each other again, in the very short future. That's why I predict a big comeback of beauty and fashion. We have been preparing for this, and we're excited, to unleash the growth of beauty/fashion, that we all anticipated since 2020.
All right, so it's going to be an exciting year for Pomelo, partner brands, and also Pomelo girls with the wide array of products and brand offerings that will be coming up. And don't forget to check out some of the exciting activities and campaigns that we also held throughout the year. As for now, a big round of applause to thank our speakers, Kun Warada, Kun Prani, and Kun Chairit. ขอบคุณมากๆนะคะ Thank you so much. Coming up next is Q&A. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to proceed back to the podium, and we'll lead you into our next session, which will be the final session of the press conference. Q&A coming right up. เอาละค่ะในช่วงต่อไปนะคะก็จะเป็นช่วงของการถามตอบกันแล้วนะคะ Q&A ของเราในช่วงนี้ขออนุญาตเรียนเชิญผู้บริหารนะคะกลับขึ้นมาร่วมพูดคุยบนเวทีนะคะใครมีคำถามประการใดก็สามารถที่จะส่งกันเข้ามาได้นะคะอยู่ในห้องก็ยกมือก็ได้นะคะเดี๋ยวทีมงานนำไมโครโฟนไปให้นะคะ May I call upon our management to the stage for the Q&A session. คุณอาริยะพนมยงค์คุณเดวิดโจคุณจีนทอมัสและคุณปิยนุชลิมาพรวณิชขอเรียนเชิญผู้บริหารนะคะขึ้นมาบนเวทีสำหรับการ Q&A นะคะในช่วงนี้ค่ะก่อนที่เราจะปิดท้ายด้วยการถ่ายรูปบันทึกภาพนะคะสำหรับการแถลงข่าวค่ะ so if you do have any questions ladies and gentlemen if you're watching us online you can actually drop your questions in the comment and our staff our team will be selecting those questions and asking our management in the next session. So without further ado, I'd like to call upon Mr. David Joe, Mr. Jean Thomas, Kun Piyanut, and also Kun Arya to the stage, please, for the Q&A session. เอาละค่ะก็มีคำถามมาจากสื่อมวลชนหลายข้ออยู่นะคะคำถามแรกเนี่ยนะคะมาจากทาง Brand Age นะคะเดี๋ยวผู้บริหารจะขึ้นมาบนเวทีแล้วก็มาร่วมตอบข้อสงสัยนะคะของทุกๆท่านนะคะเดี๋ยวพยายามจะอ่านให้ออกด้วยนะคะใครเขียนมาชัดๆนะไม่อย่างนั้นเดี๋ยวอ่านไม่ออกนะเรามีคำถามมาจาก Brand Age จากทาง Workpoint นะคะแล้วก็จากออนไลน์เชิญเลยนะคะ All right, managements are ready, so please kindly join us. We do have questions. All right, so let me begin with the first question. Does the shift in consumers' behavior during the COVID outbreak and after has an influence on the purchase and sales value? This is for Kun David.
Yeah, I think we saw a big shift in sales in terms of categories, focused on things that you want to buy when you're working from home. That's one of the big changes we saw. Obviously, with COVID and the lockdown restrictions, many of us experienced store closures. So the offline side obviously had a big impact. As an omni-channel company, online has continued to do well, and at the end of the year, we were up about 60%. So overall, I think some challenges, but lots of opportunities as well.
ค่ะก็เดี๋ยวแปลให้ฟังสั้นๆแล้วกันนะคะว่าโควิดนั้นก็ทำให้เกิดการเปลี่ยนแปลงแน่นอนนะคะเพราะว่าต้องมีการปิดสาขานะคะอย่างที่ทุกท่านทราบดีแต่ว่าจริงๆแล้วในส่วนของออฟไลน์เนี่ยก็ถือว่ามีผลกระทบเชิงบวกนะคะและด้วยการที่เราเป็น Omni Channel ที่ครบเนี่ยก็ทำให้ยอดขายเติบโตถึง 60% นะคะมันมีความท้าทายก็จริงแต่ว่าก็มีโอกาสด้วยเช่นเดียวกันนะคะ Coming to our next question.Would you mind sharing the sources of the 1 billion baht investment? David?
So the billion baht will be used towards marketing, content creation, primarily targeting user acquisition, so that we can build our new audiences, both in kind of non-Bangkok areas of Thailand and also our international markets.
ค่ะสำหรับ1,000 ล้านเนี่ยนะคะจะใช้อย่างไรนะคะก็คือในแง่ของการตลาดการสร้างคอนเทนต์ดีๆนะคะเพื่อที่จะเจาะเข้าไปในกลุ่มลูกค้ากลุ่มใหม่ๆนะคะที่อาจจะไม่ได้อยู่ในกรุงเทพรวมไปถึงลูกค้าในต่างประเทศด้วยนะคะ Do you have any expansion goals in any particular countries by this year? The same question goes to you, Mr. David.
So we opened the Philippines last year, and this year, the focus will really be about expanding deeper into the markets that we're currently in. So that includes Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, and Singapore.
ค่ะก็การขยายนะคะจะมีในไทยในอินโดในมาเลเซียในสิงคโปร์นะคะเอาละค่ะคำถามต่อไปนะคะอันนี้ไปถามคุณชองทอมัสกันต่อเลยนะคะ This question is for you, Kun Chong. Currently, out of the 27 branches, how many branches will be in Thailand?
So, I mean, the 27 branches that we have today are currently across Southeast Asia. And then
Or Kun David, I'm not sure if this question should be for you.
No. I think they're in Southeast Asia, and just to add to what John said, 22 of the stores are in Thailand today. Then we have 5 stores in our other markets.
โอเคค่ะ ปัจจุบันก็คือมี 22 สาขาในประเทศไทยนะคะ แล้วก็ยังมี 5 สาขานะคะในประเทศอื่นๆ ในภูมิภาคนะคะ Is there any country you will focus on for expanding Pomelos retail stores amongst the 54 branches?
Yeah, so the focus is really omni-channel. So both for our online and our offline, we'll be focused on expanding into new audiences. Non-Bangkok, Thailand, as well as Malaysia and Singapore specifically. We will also focus a little bit on, in terms of retail growth on Indonesia, but the focus will be on the former three.
ค่ะ ก็จะมีการขยายนะคะในช่องทาง Omni Channel คือทั้งออนไลน์แล้วก็ออฟไลน์นะคะเพื่อเจาะเข้าไปที่กลุ่มตลาดเป้าหมายใหม่ๆนะคะที่ไม่ได้อยู่แค่เพียงในกรุงเทพนะนี่พูดถึงในประเทศไทยแต่ถ้าเกิดว่าดูในต่างประเทศเนี่ยก็จะมีการโฟกัสไปที่มาเลเซียและสิงคโปร์นะคะในขณะที่ก็มีในส่วนของรีเทลที่มองเข้าไปที่อินโดนีเซียด้วยค่ะคำถามนี้นะคะจากทางประชาชาติเป็นเรื่องของความท้าทายแล้วก็อุปสรรคในช่วงโควิดนะคะ What are the challenges and obstacles during COVID-19, and how did you adjust to it?
I mean, I think everyone kind of like face the same a bit challenges. I think for us, in some ways, if you think about it, the platform came out of the pandemic. So, I think that was one of our answer to not have everything linked to one brand. Because again, fashion brand had issue with supply chain problems and so forth. If you have more brands that also help on that side, you can kind of like even out what you have. I think the same way is when we had issue with Tap Try Buy, which was a big channel, and when the retail was closed, our answers was to create Tap Try Buy at home. So providing the same service again, but directly at the comfort of your house, so then it's kind of like pandemic free. So I think from our standpoint at least is we're trying to just build, also business case that, can strive during any pandemic, but also just good business practice overall. I think that's what we're trying to expand on as much as possible.
ค่ะก็ในช่วงโควิดก็มีความท้าทายอยู่นะคะแต่ว่าเราก็มีโอกาสจากการที่เรามีบริการ Tap Try Buy นะคะได้มีการขยับขยายให้ลูกค้านั้นสามารถที่จะเลือกซื้อนะคะไปลองสินค้าก่อนที่บ้านนะคะเพื่อความสะดวกสบายแล้วก็อาจจะรู้สึกว่าไม่ต้องมาเสี่ยงกับการติดเชื้อโรคนะคะก็ถือว่าได้รับการตอบรับที่ดีมากๆนะคะฉะนั้นเนี่ยคือมาถึงจุดนี้แล้วก็มองว่าเรามีโอกาสในการทำธุรกิจออนไลน์มากขึ้นฉะนั้นจะมีการขยับขยายในส่วนนี้มากขึ้นค่ะคำถามต่อไปมาจากทาง Marketing Oops นะคะ What is Pomelo's vision towards environment and sustainability this year and what is your opinion about the environmental issues and concerns regarding fast fashion?
Yeah, why don't I start and feel free to add on. Sustainability is very important to us and I think when we first looked at how do we want to tackle sustainability, we really felt like we needed to start with the product. That's really been our focus. It's about creating sustainable products that have the least or at least a neutral impact on the environment. So today, 30% of all our products are sustainable, and that means our supply chains are also sustainable. And the goal is to move more and more to expanding that assortment within our portfolio. That's really the main focus for us. And hopefully we can share some of the more concrete sustainability goals as we make progress. But one of the things that we want to do internally is make sure that we are really making progress before we speak on the topic. So that's really been our focus.
Yeah, and I think just to complement what David said, I remember even conversation that we had before, around like, should we communicate about our efforts, should we not communicate? And I think it comes down to you have two options. Some companies, they like to announce that they will do things within the next 10 years, and it might or might not happen. And I think for us, I was more pros to go in the direction of really, let's just do what we think is right. And then, over time we can communicate about it, but let's just focus on the efforts, right? And as David mentioned earlier in the presentation that, 30% on the garment is not sustainable. It went from 0 to 30% for quite some time. We just haven't really been communicating about it. But for us, really, the point is, let's just do the right thing. Let's just try to, let's keep improving on that subject. Let's bring more brands that have more products that are sustainable, and everything else in the ecosystem, and then the communication can come out, once we think we are doing sufficient effort here.
เอาละค่ะคำถามในเรื่องของ
ขอเพิ่มนิดนึงนะครับ
เชิญค่ะ
I think one point that I wanted to emphasize is you might wonder why such a young brand as Pomelo cares so much about sustainability, and I think you have to look at not just at us but our users, our customers, right? Because to be honest, many of us were born in an era where maybe we didn't pay so much attention to sustainability, right? But the younger generation, our customers, care about that. So it's not just the fact that we're doing that for them, but we maybe not me, but the younger generation cares about that, and we care about that. And I think that's an important value that Pomelo and our customers we share commonly. So that's why we talk so much about sustainability.
ค่ะก็เรื่องของความยั่งยืนนะคะก็แปลในสิ่งที่ผู้บริหารได้กล่าวไปนะคะก็คือว่าเราใส่ใจในเรื่องนี้อยู่แล้วนะคะก็ได้มีการมุ่งมั่นเนี่ยนะคะที่จะสร้างผลิตภัณฑ์ซึ่งมีผลกระทบน้อยที่สุดนะคะหรือถ้าเป็นไปได้คือไม่มีเลยต่อสิ่งแวดล้อมก็เริ่มจากศูนย์นะคะจนถึงทุกวันนี้เนี่ยเรามีผลิตภัณฑ์ถึง30%ที่ผ่านกระบวนการความยั่งยืนนะคะเรียกว่าเป็นผลิตภัณฑ์ที่เป็น sustainable แล้วก็นอกจากนั้นเนี่ยนะคะผู้บริหารก็บอกว่าเราก็มีความพยายามที่จะดำเนินในเรื่องนี้ต่อไปในทุกกระบวนการขององค์กรนะคะพัฒนาให้ดียิ่งขึ้นนะคะทั้งระบบนิเวศแล้วคุณบีก็ได้บอกนะคะว่าในเรื่องของความยั่งยืนที่เราใส่ใจนั้นเพราะว่าผู้บริโภคในยุคนี้อาจจะแตกต่างจากยุคก่อนที่ไม่ได้ตระหนักถึงเรื่องนี้มากเท่าไหร่แต่ถ้าเกิดว่าเป็นรุ่นใหม่เนี่ยใส่ใจในเรื่องนี้ Pomelo จึงใส่ใจในเรื่องนี้เช่นเดียวกันค่ะคำถามถัดไปเนี่ยนะคะเป็นเรื่องของจาก positioning นะคะ At this moment could you say that Pomelo is the marketplace for fashion brands คุณ David
Yeah, we consider ourselves an omnichannel platform. We want to bring great products to our customers, so we do curate the products that we have on our platform to ensure that we have the best styles, the best quality, the best price, etc. So there is curation. So I think that's one of the differences between Pomelo and a pure marketplace that connects sellers and buyers.
ค่ะอันนี้ก็พูดถึงในเรื่องของการที่เราเป็น Omni Channel เนี่ยนะคะเราก็มีศักยภาพในการที่จะ curate หรือว่าสร้างสรรค์เลือกสรรคัดสรรสิ่งที่ดีที่สุดให้กับลูกค้านะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็นในเรื่องของผลิตภัณฑ์ในเรื่องของแบบในเรื่องของราคาแล้วก็ในเรื่องของคุณภาพนะคะก็นับว่าเป็นความแตกต่างของเราเมื่อเทียบกับเจ้าอื่นๆในตลาดนะคะ Why does Pomelo next question Why does Pomelo decide to start operating business in Thailand This question is from ประชาชาติธุรกิจคุณ David
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think when we first started to look at Southeast Asia, Thailand has a lot of competitive advantages. The adoption of digital so strong, basic infrastructure extremely strong, whether it's internet speeds, smartphone penetration, all of these things are probably the most developed in Southeast Asia after Singapore. It's a large and dynamic population. And when it comes to all things design, fashion, I think Bangkok is definitely one of the leading cities in Southeast Asia for fashion. Yeah, I mean even here, you can see very fashionable crowd. And I think when you think about building a company, you have to ask yourself, what can this city, right, give that's differentiated? What are the competitive advantages of being based here? And then it has to be design, a strong and rich history in textiles, dynamic community of fashion lovers, and kind of the craziness around social media, right, which is so big in driving self-expression today. So those are some of the reasons why we are headquartered here in Bangkok.
ค่ะก็ทำไมเราถึงเลือกประเทศไทยเป็นเฮดควอเตอร์นะคะแล้วก็ดำเนินกิจการที่นี่เป็นหลักนะคะเนื่องจากว่าเมื่อดูในภูมิภาคเอเชียตะวันออกเฉียงใต้แล้วเนี่ยประเทศไทยถือว่ามีจุดได้เปรียบหลายประการด้วยกันนะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็นในเรื่องของอินฟราสตรักเจอร์โดยรวมของเราก็ดีนะคะในเรื่องของระบบอินเทอร์เน็ตของเราก็ใช้ได้การเข้าถึงนะคะของผู้ใช้งานนับว่าดีที่สุดในภูมิภาคนอกเหนือจากสิงคโปร์นะคะเราถือว่าโอเคมากแล้วถ้าเกิดพูดถึงเมืองแฟชั่นก็จริงๆแล้วกรุงเทพมหานครก็ถือว่าเป็นลีดเดอร์ในเรื่องของแฟชั่นเช่นเดียวกันนะคะฉะนั้นก็ดูในเรื่องนี้ดูในเรื่องของประวัติศาสตร์นะคะเราก็มีประวัติศาสตร์เรื่องของผ้านะคะเรามี history ที่ค่อนข้างดีแล้วก็การใช้สื่อโซเชียลมีเดียก็ถือว่าประเทศไทยก็ใช้เยอะอยู่ด้วยนะคะเอาละค่ะมาดูคำถามต่อไปเป็นคำถามสุดท้ายนะคะจากทางแบรนด์บุฟเฟ่ค่ะ This will be the last and final question for Q&A. What would you analyze the workforce efficiency regarding the hybrid working framework proposed by Pomelo? This question is for Kun Apple.
We commit to make it work in Pomelos, right? Like what I say, like we just launched this few weeks back, and we are evaluating the efficiencies of this framework. But we believe that when we giving the employee at the right setup with flexibilities, allowing them to have the creativities and innovations, we for sure think that it will create a better result. As well as not just only productivity that we are talking about, it's about the engagement that we want to build with our people. Yeah, thank you.
ค่ะสำหรับในแนวทาง Hybrid Workplace เนี่ยก็เพิ่งจะเริ่มดำเนินการได้ไม่นานนะคะก็ต้องใช้เวลาในการประเมินว่าประสิทธิภาพประสิทธิผลเป็นอย่างไรนะคะแต่เชื่อว่าจะเป็นสิ่งที่ดีเพราะเปิดโอกาสให้กับพนักงานให้กับบุคลากรในองค์กรได้คิดสร้างสรรค์มีความยืดหยุ่นนะคะแล้วก็สร้างบรรยากาศที่ดีให้แก่การ innovate นะคะก็เชื่อว่าจะสามารถสร้างผลลัพธ์ที่ดีให้กับองค์กรมี engagement นะคะมากขึ้นนั่นเองค่ะเอาละค่ะก็ต้องขอบคุณทุกคำถามที่เข้ามาและขอบคุณผู้บริหารด้วยนะคะ That's going to be it for the questions so thank you so much for clarifying all the doubts up next is a picture opportunity ในช่วงต่อไปจะเป็นการถ่ายภาพแล้วนะคะ so please kindly stand up for our staff to just clear the stage take the chairs away and now we'll be taking some pictures to end the press conference ในช่วงนี้ก็ถือว่าเป็นการเข้าสู่ช่วงท้ายของการแถลงข่าวแล้วนะคะขออนุญาตเรียนเชิญท่านผู้บริหารนะคะให้เกียรติขึ้นถ่ายรูปนะคะในเซตแรกจะเป็นผู้บริหาร4ท่านก่อนนะคะและเรามีด้วยกันทั้งหมด2เซตนะคะอีกเซตหนึ่งก็จะเป็นเหล่าพาร์ทเนอร์นะคะพาร์ทเนอร์แบรนด์ที่จะบันทึกภาพกับเราค่ะแล้วก็ขอเรียนเชิญทุกท่านเนี่ยนะคะอย่าเพิ่งไปไหนนะคะเอาล่ะค่ะก็อย่าเพิ่งรีบไปไหนนะคะเดี๋ยวผู้บริหารจะมีการมอบของที่ระลึกให้กับทุกท่านนะคะที่วันนี้สละเวลามาร่วมงานกับเรานั่นเองค่ะแล้วก็หลังจากนี้เนี่ยเรารับประทานอาหารกลางวันด้วยกันนะคะที่ห้องบอลรูมด้านข้างเอาละค่ะในเซตที่1เนี่ยนะคะก็จะมีท่านผู้บริหาร4ท่านนะคะบันทึกภาพกับเรานะคะแล้วก็ถ้าพร้อมแล้วเซตที่2 Ladies and gentlemen please kindly remain on stage we have another set of picture taking right here I'd like to call back to the stage คุณ Derek ขอเรียนเชิญคุณดิเรกกลับขึ้นมาบนเวทีนะคะคุณวรดาคุณชัยฤทธิ์และคุณปราณีค่ะถ่ายภาพไปด้วยกันในเซตที่2นะคะเรียนเชิญนะคะ Right now I'd like to say a big thank you to our distinguished guests, the company executives, to all speakers for joining us, sharing the exciting information and insights and plans for Pomelo Fashion to become Southeast Asia's #1 fashion destination. And after this picture moment, our management will be handing out some special souvenirs to our guests for joining. And also we'd like to invite you to join us for lunch, which will be served in the room next door. เดี๋ยวถ้าใครมีคำถามอะไรนอกเหนือจากนี้ลองดูนะคะเผื่อจะพูดคุยกับผู้บริหารกันได้นอกรอบนะคะเพราะว่าส่งกันเข้ามาเยอะจริงๆนะคะทั้งที่ชมอยู่ทางออนไลน์ด้วยกับทุกท่านที่อยู่กับเราตรงนี้นะคะก็เรียกได้ว่าเป็นแนวทางที่เราได้รับทราบจากทาง Pomelo กันแล้วนะคะรวมไปถึงพาร์ทเนอร์แบรนด์ที่ก็มาเล่าให้ฟังนะคะว่าแม้จะเจอกับสภาวะความท้าทายในอุตสาหกรรมจากโควิดนะคะแต่ด้วยการที่ใช้แพลตฟอร์มของ Pomelo ก็สามารถที่จะเติบโตได้นะคะแม้ว่าจะเป็นในยามที่หลายอุตสาหกรรมหลายธุรกิจนั้นอาจจะมีภาวะชะงักกันไปบ้างนะคะแต่แฟชั่นถือว่ายังเป็นสิ่งที่ไปต่อได้นะคะและการมีพันธมิตรดีๆมีแพลตฟอร์มดีๆพร้อมการเข้าถึงก็จะทำให้เติบโตได้นั่นเองขอเสียงปรบมือดังๆอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะคะสำหรับผู้บริหารของเราด้วยค่ะ Well, thank you so much once again, and on behalf of Pomelo Fashion Company, thank you, and we hope to see you in the near future. Don't forget to collect your special souvenirs. อย่าลืมรับของที่ระลึกก่อนกลับบ้านนะคะและเดี๋ยวเจอกันที่ห้องอาหารสำหรับการแถลงข่าวเสร็จสิ้นแต่เพียงเท่านี้ลากันไปแล้วสวัสดีค่ะสำหรับบัตรจอดรถก็สามารถไปแท็บได้อยู่ที่หน้างานนะคะเผื่อลืมนะคะขอบคุณค่ะ